For more on all of this, let's bring in Bill Kristol, who's the editor of the Weekly Standard. He's also an ABC News contributor, and he joins us from Washington. Bill, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Let's start with this Trump-Romney meeting today. There is a long history in America of political rivals making nice after these hard-fought campaigns, but Romney really went pretty far. As we showed, he called Trump a con man and a fraud. Could he really join the cabinet after saying all of that?
Sure he could. I mean, I think he'd want assurances that as Secretary of State, I assume that's the job he would be interested in and that he might be offered, he would be able to run his department. He would want to talk about some substantive foreign policy issues. He's not going to defend or articulate positions that he thinks are indefensible. But, you know, the media is being a little unfair here. I mean, on the one hand, Trump's criticized, I think correctly in some ways, for appointing loyalists who shouldn't perhaps be in the highest positions. Then he reaches out to Mitt Romney, who is unquestionably qualified for this job, who's been a harsh critic of Trump, who doesn't agree with Trump on everything. It shows a kind of open-mindedness on Trump's part, honestly, and I think a rising to the job, perhaps, if he makes the offer. Same with Jim Mattis. Jim Mattis, whom I know, retired Marine four-star general, fantastic general, really a fantastic human being, I think. I don't know that he wants to be Secretary of Defense. That'd have to be a waiver because he's a recent general. But if he would advise Donald Trump, I would feel better about a President Trump who is being advised by Mitt Romney and Jim Mattis. So, you know, it's a little, we can all laugh about it and show the clips of Romney criticizing Trump and remind people that Mattis thought of running as an independent against Trump. But I've got to give Trump credit for being more open-minded or broad-minded than I might have expected.
Yeah, you got Nikki Haley and, you know, Ted Cruz and Romney going from his hit list now to his hot list. But I want to ask you about the 5 high-profile job appointments since the election. All white men, and 3 of them, we're talking about Sessions, Bannon, and Flynn, have been accused of bigotry. So if a member of a minority community, if you're a member of the minority community and you're concerned about a Trump presidency, how should you feel about this administration and how it's shaping up right now, Bill?
I think you should keep an open mind, honestly. I don't know that I don't approve of things Bannon has said. I'm not sure I would make Mike Flynn my national security advisor. I respect Jeff Sessions, and I think he's getting a bit of a bum rap here. But anyway, let's see. You know, Sessions will testify before the Senate in his confirmation. Flynn and Bannon are in staff positions. I myself think staffers should probably not be giving interviews and speeches maybe as much. Let the president be the president. Let the cabinet secretaries be the public faces of the administration. So I would, if I were, I mean, I am a Trump skeptic, obviously, but if I were in a minority group and a Trump skeptic, I would trust but verify, distrust but verify, be very skeptical. But, you know, he is the president-elect. Let's see what he does. Let's see what his policies are. Let's see what he says as president. And maybe some of his aides will move on from where they were a few months or a few years ago.
You've paid a price for being a Trump skeptic. Steve Bannon, the controversial Trump strategist, newly appointed to a high-ranking staff position in the White House, has gone after you through Breitbart quite aggressively. What do you make of the fact that Bannon now appears to hold an enormous amount of sway with the incoming president?
Well, Bannon thought the kind of conservatism that I've been part of for decades was old-fashioned and too timid and not sort of nationalist enough. Some of those are legitimate policy differences. Sometimes I think he published stuff at Breitbart that was unnecessarily, not just personal, but sort of vitriolic and so forth. But again, I'm not thrilled that Steve Bannon is a counselor to the President of the United States. But again, it's really going to be what Donald Trump does and says, not what Steve Bannon does and says.
Bill Kristol, fascinating to watch you walk this line this morning. We'll be checking back with you throughout this administration. Thank you very much.